All right, in my Think Aloud today, I'm going to show you how to write an exemplary outline for your PBA rhetorical analysis essay, which will be over your choice speech. I'm using Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail as the anchor text for my outline. So the first part of my outline is my thesis. So in order to write a thesis statement, I need to do three things first. I need to determine the writer's purpose. What is the writer trying to accomplish? Of course, we do this in the rhetorical situation phase of our analysis. Second thing is I need to determine the writer's choices. What does the writer use to achieve his purpose? And then I need to choose a precise verb that demonstrates in the most appropriate fashion what it is the writer is doing um, in order to achieve his purpose. So, what verb more precisely describes the writer's purpose? You will also find, I linked earlier to a PDF document that has various rhetorically accurate verbs to help you if you're trying to figure out how to describe exactly what the writer is doing. So once I figure out those three things, my last step is to write out a thesis that includes the writer's name, the writer's purpose, a precise verb, and the rhetorical choices, which are optional, but I do encourage including those rhetorical choices because they help preview the structure of your essay. And you'll see this when I get into my claims and evidence. So my thesis is in order to chastise the Alabama clergyman for adhering to the status quo and criticizing nonviolent direct action for civil rights, Dr. King, in his letter, references religious leaders he views as extremists and expresses his gratefulness for white people who have joined the movement for equal rights. In the red here, we see the purpose, King's purpose, to chastise the Alabama clergyman. And in the orange, we see the two rhetorical choices that Dr. King uses in this section to achieve his purpose, which are referencing religious leaders he views as extremists and expressing his gratefulness for white people who have joined the movement. Put that together, and I have a thesis statement that meets both parts of the criteria. My next step is to write an analytical claim in which I need to do three things. I need to characterize a rhetorical choice by describing what the writer is doing. I need to connect to the audience by answering the question of what is the intended impact on the audience, and then connect to the purpose by answering how does the choice help the audience accept the writer's message. So my claim, which comes back to my thesis, I said he wanted to reference religious leaders he views as extremists. So I put that out here in my first claim. He references and quotes historical and religious figures he felt were, quote, extremists for good cause. In order to counter the clergyman's critique of King and the demonstrators as extremists. So in the green, I have the characterization of the rhetorical choice. Notice that references by itself is not a rhetorical choice. Fill that out. What is being referenced and quoted? Then in the blue, we have the connection to the purpose. He wants to counter the critique of King and the demonstrators as extremists. And then the purple here is the connection to the audience. Whose critique is he countering? It's the clergyman's. Also, I have evidence to support it, which are two quotes that come from the Extremists for Love section of Letter from a Birmingham Jail. The rhetorical questions: was not Jesus an extremist in love? Amos, Paul, all those men. And then also more rhetorical questions. What kind of extremists will we be? Will we be extremists for hate? Will we be extremists for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice? Or will we be extremists for the cause of justice? In my next video, I'll add commentary to this claim and evidence in order to write a full body paragraph that supports my thesis.